No. That's the wrong culture.
We are sending data. Sending data.
Eric.
Sending data.
Here's some napkins.
Am I that bad?
No. I meant for the drinks, but that's fine.
Oh. I'm gonna have to rearrange things a couple of times here.
Yeah.
So.
I know.
Online, sending data.
Are we online sending data?
Sending data.
Sending data. Or
Shit,
data.
I forgot my coffee. Hold down the fork.
Yep.
Okay. Hi,
Where'd my
guys.
mouse go?
Welcome to the show.
I can't find my mouse. Where did it go?
I hate
There
when
it
that
is.
happens.
There.
Are we actually? We're not.
We are live
Whoa,
on
howdy, folks.
all platforms and
Oh, hey, Rocky. Thanks.
Oh, I've been here the whole time.
Thanks for coming to the studio
I'm
today.
like, what
Ladies and
is-
gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Rocky Rager, our special guest tonight. Rocky, I understand you have a new book out.
Yes, indeed. What is missing on my side table? Oh, my coffee. Shoot. Yeah,
Got to have your coffee.
indeed.
All right, and I gotta have my stuff prepped here for momentarily from now.
Hi, boys and girls. Thanks for joining in. We're not done. Are you ready? We ready to go?
I will. Yeah.
I was just talking to my peeps.
Oh, okay. Well, you keep talking to them, and then
All right, fair enough.
pretend we're doing the intro.
How you doing back there, Mac?
we're doing.
Everybody loading in?
We got somebody from Germany on here.
Ooh.
Northern
Oh.
Germany.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Ja, bitte. Ein bisschen.
Hey, can you remember any of your German?
Ein bisschen.
Oh, okay.
Means a little bit. Yes. Mac, do you speak German or no?
No. I just
No.
Rocky,
Yes, Eric?
where's the Akshentaten that you wanted to use?
Akataschen?
Akshentaten?
You know who has the Akataschen? I think our good friend Matt out in the other room
Matthew tool.
has the Akataschen. And he's going to bring that right in.
You actually went there,
The
huh?
magic
Yes, I
of...
did.
Matio tool. This is where Matt's like,
Matt's out there going, oh my God, where's the Akataschen?
what's an Akshentaten?
Are they talking to me? Yes, Matt O'Toole, we are talking to you. Get the Akataschen.
He's on his computer looking for Akshentaten.
Yes. I'm going to go. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah. We're organized today?
Well, welcome to our behind the scenes. By the way, since we are still behind the scenes, Mac, I'd like to point out that our monitor for monitoring what's going on is mini. I mostly see Fenris here on Rob's wallpaper, not myself.
You have the mini screen, huh?
The mini screen. Mhm.
It's a mini-me. All right. So,
That goes to me.
all right, that goes to you.
Yep.
All right.
And I'm out of here.
We are the least organized we've probably ever been going into a show. So,
Wow.
hold on to your seats,
That's
folks.
saying something.
It was a low bar to get over
they're,
for the record.
they're probably eating this up out there, actually. The true believers are probably like,
All right.
can we get not mini? Can we be maxi? So we can see what we're looking at when we want to look at it, because we're going to have to do that later.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, nope, still going. I hope you're all enjoying this.
We actually planned this to give you guys more time to file
Exactly.
into the room, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, love
Okay, much better, much better.
All right,
So let's do that introduction thing. Okay.
if we must. Oh, we're supposed to have this off screen. Oh, sorry. You didn't see that. This is not the Drambuie you're looking for.
This is the end of the year show.
Right?
Is it the Friday the 13th show? That
No.
falls off the rails.
It's Friday the 3rd.
Yes. All right. Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome to Kilts and Culture. I am Rocky, and this is Eric.
Yo.
Today, special treat after starting the show a little bit late. We are going to try the classic Drambuie. This is a liqueur, but it's mostly Scotch. So
Yeah.
I've never had it before.
Made with blended Scotch, and theoretically, people like to drink it on holiday occasions, like Xmas and Burns Night and Hogmanay and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So we figured, all right, let's try Bent Drambuie. We're going to have a little bit of it straight, and then we're going to make a, what's it, rusty nail?
a rusty nail.
A rusty nail, which is the classic Drambuie thing,
Yeah.
cocktail.
Feel free to follow along at home.
Indeed.
And I had started to look up notes about rusty nails, but then I figured I'd just make Mac tell about it if we want to.
I got too many things going on. Got my
Yeah, you
first
do.
mince. Yeah.
Do not put the
Cup of
mince into the
coffee.
Drambuie.
All right. All right.
Ah,
Now, the question becomes,
I
do
don't
we?
think you're gonna want much.
All right. All right.
Well, I don't know. I could be wrong.
I can always pour more.
True.
All right.
I don't think you're gonna need more.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Eric,
I will. I choose you, Scotch-a-chew.
Mr. Mac, come on over and get your Drambuie.
Got this knot in my back. Hopefully, this is gonna take care of it. Little, muscle relaxing going.
Go. Cut in front of all of them. Just.
What you're supposed to cut in front of the
Yeah,
main camera so people realize this is not a green screen. Remember? That's the-
That's right. So.
You want to do it now? Okay, here we go. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's right, they call him the Mac. Thank you, Mac. We are off to a very silly start today.
All right. I will leave this on your side.
Thank
for
you.
the-
I will
the next
need
thing.
this for the next stage of the experiment.
All right. Do we have any Mac? Why don't you pull up tasting notes for Drambuie? What's in it outside of alcohol and stuff? And it is in our highly sought after, oft coveted.
He's
USA
probably
Kilts
going to
Maker
find that
brooches.
the actual the specific blend is proprietary. So a lot of liqueurs they do not want to tell you what the proportion ingredients are.
Yes, but it's like honey and spice and all things nice or something.
And Scotch is a base.
And Scotch,
Yeah.
but it's like mostly Scotch. So when I was looking for it in the liquor store, I was like, all right, and I couldn't find it like with the Scotches because it's a Scotch, but they were like, no, it's over in
It's
liqueurs.
not Scotch. Yeah, it's a liqueur.
What do you got, Mac?
So we've got a liqueur made from Scotch whiskey, heather honey, good old herbs, and spices.
Herbs, because there's an H in it.
It smells like
Poor Herb.
smells a little bit of Scotch. I smell the honey, and it smells like black licorice.
Yep.
To me.
Yeah, I think there's definitely anise,
Anise.
in it.
Clearing
You know,
up the sinuses.
And on a holiday note, it reminded me of a spruce tree a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
There's like the anise. For a second, it was like trees in a cut your own tree field, and then I was like, oh wait, no, that's anise. That's
It
not.
reminds me of cutting down my Christmas tree with my father as a wee boy, back in Percy.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed, quite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the castle where my father used to work.
Or manor house, as it were.
Yeah. Ooh, spoiler. Okay. I'm gonna try it. Ready?
Yes.
Here
All
we
right, Mr. Mac, you have to try some too.
go. Okay.
I was still trying to get into the site.
That's all right. Plancha. A lot of honey.
A lot of honey.
Yeah.
Woo! A lot of spice.
Feel like it should be thicker than the
Yeah.
way the way it's
Yeah.
looser than how it tastes.
Looser than how it tastes.
It's like should
That's
be
quite
thicker.
the sentence. Yeah.
That's the Dutchie coming out.
You want it to be more like a true cough syrup.
Yeah, that's what
It
would.
feels like a cough syrup.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is very cough syrupy.
I could have one of my cough drops and it'll be fine.
You just put some in your coffee. Actually,
Sure.
no, this would not be good in coffee.
No, you don't bastardize coffee. Like
Tea. It'd be good in tea.
that. I could see it in tea. Yeah. Yeah.
Make
it's
a hot
got,
toddy with it.
like herbaliness to it. All right. Okay, Drambuie on its own. Mac, we gotta hurry these up. Score: Drambuie on its own, 1 to 10.
See, I like Jaeger, so this falls.
It's like the
right.
Honey Baron or whatever.
is
it
kinda-
is.
This is falls on those lines for me, so I would give this an 8.
Okay. Okay. High score. I wasn't expecting this much sweetness and whatnots. While you're starting to cocktailize.
I'm cocktailing eyes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Went a little stronger.
It's a lot. If on its own, somebody gave me this to a party, 2.5 or 3. Like I'm not digging it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd give it to you at a party. On
Yeah,
its
it's
own
not
now.
it's not a sipping thing either. Like maybe you do a shot of it or you mix it with things to make other cocktails. Like I
Right,
don't know, rusty
right.
nail or something. Do the low. We were talking about the recipes for rusty nails. Do the lower Drambuie for me.
Too late.
Oh snap!
And
All
for
right.
science,
Then just give me more scotch.
no, for science, yeah, I'm gonna give us all a little bit extra scotch.
What do you think of it, Eric?
I like it, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't drink it on its own unless like as like a maybe like a half a shot or something is just kind of like a trying to settle in for an evening, and then I would move to something else. So I would give it like a. I can definitely see mixing with it in some fun ways. So I'd give it a 7.2. But again, that's not on a Scotch scale. That's
on its own. What would you give it? 7.2 on its own?
Yeah, I think it's a very good mixer.
Okay.
It does have a bit of a holiday vibe to me. It does feel wintry, like the kind of thing you would mix with things that could be hot.
Yeah.
Like making adding it as a little bit of sweetness for a Scotch toddy or something like that. You know.
You had a few people make comments about hot toddies with it.
It's definitely sweet with anise. Like, my fingers are almost sticky.
It's total tangent, but I'll give you my personal hot toddy recipe for you guys right now. Myers dark rum, and then half an ounce of butter shots, and mix it with a very, very strong cup of Celestial Seasonings Bengal spice tea, and a little bit of butter on top.
Good enough. All right. So, for the rusty nail, what was the recipe you are using here? Or actually, Mac, why don't you come get yours, and then we'll go over the recipe in a second.
We got just under an ounce of the Drambuie, 2 ounces of Auchentoshan. Auchentoshan. I don't know why I have a mental block about this name, but I do. And then those proportions vary depending on who's making it. The other.
Tell me you're not.
The other. Well, hi, Mac.
Hi, how you doing?
You just want to stay here the whole rest of the show?
Sure, this is going to kill my knee, but...
and then a lot of times they call for a twist of lemon. So we did that. And that's really it. I mean, there are a lot of variations on the cocktail recipe, but basically it's a way of sweetening up your Scotch is what I gathered. You know, it's like
and a little bit of ice.
And an ice cube.
Yep, ice cube.
Yep, poured over ice.
There's my little lemon bit in there, a little lemon rind.
Yep, so it's like...
Yep, squeezed in there a little bit. And we mixed it up okay. All right.
I sure hope so.
Mr. Mac, smelling it. It smells sweet and a little lemony now.
Yeah.
With a hint of Auchentoshan. All right.
Doing and nosing on a cocktail is
kind of
silly.
It's difficult to do it on a big glass like this. I don't know. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Slaja.
It's all right.
I like it a lot better with the Scotch in it.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's really meant to be a mixer.
Yeah. Yeah, Mac.
I'm almost going the other way. I like it by itself.
It's more desserty by itself. It feels like a dessert.
Well,
it's a liqueur.
Liqueur, yeah.
Oh, I almost forgot. The other thing I sometimes put in those hot toddies is a little bit of Fireball. So we're talking low, not talking like fancy hoity-toity stuff here. But
not in the...
I love Fireball whiskey. I have to admit, I love it because I love cinnamon. But
okay, all right, not bad. All right, scale of 1 to 10.
It's not bad.
What are we giving the Rusty Nail, Auchentoshan, and Drambuie? Mac.
I'm gonna go to 5.6. I like it a lot better by itself.
Okay, 5.6. Fair.
We're actually kind of in the same zone, but for slightly different reasons. I was going to give it like a 5.3, something like that, because I like it, but I'd want to make it a little more interesting. I'd mess with the recipe a little bit at home. I think add something else or a little more lemon, something like that. Just tinker with it.
Okay. I will say this doesn't taste very alcohol-y to me, so it could be dangerous.
That's also the point of a cocktail.
Yes. I'm going to give it a 5.2. I think I'd rather it's average. It's fine. I think for me I'd rather have straight Scotch. I'm not a big cocktail. If I'm going to go cocktail, I don't want to taste really any alcohol. I just want to like super sweet, like a screwdriver or something. But
that's a low bar.
I know, but I haven't drank cocktails since freaking college. I don't know.
If you guys want to see me make a zombie for this guy, let us know in the comments. Make him a good old 1938 vintage zombie.
Okay.
Down the beachcomber.
Fair.
Yeah, you know what? This is I don't know if this is here nor there, or just like a biased memory or something, but it's reminding me a tiny bit of like the sherry my grandmother used to drink. It doesn't have the brandy, winey edge, but it reminds me a little bit of sherry, which is odd. But
No, it reminds me of Scotch that's cold with a little bit of honey.
yeah, it's all right.
Indeed, it's fine. It's fine. If you're looking for a drink, Drambuie, it's fine. That's about it. All right, boys and girls, we're gonna sit here sipping our cocktails, answering your questions. So, anything you want to know, kilts, culture related, or life in general, we are your humble servants. We are here to answer whatever questions you have. So load them in the comments, and Mac, our spectacular curator back there, will be giving us questions throughout the show. And Eric over here has questions that have already been submitted or were submitted in previous shows we didn't have a chance to get to. I'm really just filling time right now.
Yeah, sorry, I had to put the bar card away.
I know.
You know how it goes. I'm actually going to dovetail right into one question, which is completely seasonal, because it goes with what we were just talking about. Jeremy Forsyth asked, "What is everyone's favorite Christmas drink?" He says his personal tradition is Irish coffee on Christmas morning while opening presents. But he was wondering if there's anything that we drink or as a traditional drink during the holidays.
Are we doing Christmas morning drinks?
I think he'd be more broad than that.
Okay.
But Christmas morning is
Christmas morning is
just
just
a little bit.
coffee. I don't know. I don't really have seasonally appropriate tastes for drinks. Like I'm not an eggnog guy. It kind of weirds me out just having the word egg in the title. Max back there gagging.
as opposed to the word nog.
I don't know what a nog is, but egg and drink just weirds me out.
Nog.
Yeah, or milk and alcohol just blah, blah, blah. So no White Russians either.
Okay, dude.
So yeah, Rusty Nail is the closest I've come to a Christmas cocktail, because this is the first one I've had in years.
I'm liking it more and more, but I do think I like it sweeter, like Mac was saying.
Yeah.
Well, as I've often said before, we have a fair amount of mead during the holidays because of family traditions. I would say for casual drinking, it runs the gamut. I mean, we do like to do Irish coffee sometimes. We do the hot toddy that I was mentioning. That's probably the most common thing, is we do the hot, and we really like mulled wines and stuff, so like mulled cider. And I'll make hot toddies, and this has nothing to do with Celtic culture, but we'll do glueg. We'll do the mulled, the mulled wine, which is delicious and is a really hot, steaming, really instantly relaxes you kind of thing.
Nice.
Also very high octane if you make it in the traditional way.
Mac, do you have any holiday drinks, any Polish things, any German things that you dig on during the holidays?
Drinks.
I know you're a cider guy.
Yeah, I like my ciders. So occasionally we'll do like the German, even like the German. I forget what it is. Like more of the wine that's always kept
Glück.
in the
Glück or
the crock
Glüeg
pot
or...
that's going all day. We've done that a couple times.
Yeah. Boilo.
Oh yeah, there.
Woo! You ever done Boilo?
We've had that at a few times at events.
Nice.
There's one of the groups from the Civil War events. One of the groups from New York. They make their own.
Wow.
All the time.
Wow.
It can get pretty dicey after a while.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Do you know what Boilo is?
No idea, but I'm assuming it's hearty.
Yes. It's basically, I don't know the recipes, but it originated like in Pennsylvania, like Schuylkill County or something.
Okay.
And it's basically, you mix it outside because you're literally cooking liquor, and it can explode. So if you're smart, you do it outside. It's kind of like all this other stuff we're talking about, mulled wine, mulled cider kind of stuff, but on steroids.
Nice.
So
all good liquors should explode.
yeah. No, but sadly, I can't say there's anything that's particularly Celtic-y, Gaelic-y for me for the holidays like that.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I'm just
except for the Irish coffee, if you count that. But,
yeah, I'm just straight Scotch. It's an all round kind of.
yeah, it'll do you any time of year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. True that.
Tell you what, I will say this: I tend to enjoy peatier, smokier ones in the winter. Hanging out by a fire. It is not. I wouldn't call Scotch a summer drink. So fall through spring, I'll enjoy Scotch more. Although I'll force myself to drink it during summer on occasion as well.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Or go peatier in the winter and more Highland
later
in the summer.
Bayside or something. Yeah. All right, Mr. Mac. Do we have any questions coming in from the interwebs?
They're coming in, and they're coming in quick, and so we'll start off with the first one that we got in, which I completely missed the name because the way everything was rolling in here. But it says, I'm 16. I got invited to a tea party by a few girls from his class, and they said I should wear a suit. Should he go kilted?
Absolutely.
Always. Yes.
That was easy.
Yes.
Next question.
If there's one thing that 30, 40-year-old Rocky could go back in time and tell teenage Rocky or early 20s Rocky, absolutely wear a freaking kilt. The confidence that it exudes, 100% is attractive. Period. Bar none. So, women love guys in kilts in general, and if they don't, forget them anyway. You'll have more of the pick of the litter, so to speak, with everyone else. It is very, very attractive wearing a kilt to people in general.
Yeah, and I think it's. I'll just temper that a little bit by saying if this is like a school activity and it's being hosted on school grounds, make sure that nobody in authority is going to have a problem and give you a hassle about it. But assuming it's a private party, go for it. It will suit the aesthetic, especially if they're kind of trying to do a Victorian vibe or like a history bounding vibe for it. Then kind of vintagey. It'll be perfect. It'll be awesome. It'll be more fun. It'll fit the mood. I think. Yeah, go for it.
Absolutely.
Now I want to
take pictures and send them to us. I want to see how it turns out.
I want to scone.
Yep, and report back with how many new girlfriends you have,
or not.
Mr. Eric.
Yeah. Hey. We did a company tea party here back in August, as a matter of fact. Just for the record. All right. I'm just going to straight up to the top here. Joe Groves, longtime listener, not first-time caller. If somebody really wanted to make their own kilt, what type of equipment do you recommend? Are you going to have a heavy-duty machine? You're going to have to hand sew it? What are the specific needles? What's the devil in the details if you want to really set up a gear for making a kilt?
No, you don't need an industrial machine. You can hand sew a kilt. You can use a home machine like a Baby Lock or something like that, or a Brother. But you can use industrial machines as well. We do, obviously, here in the shop. If you want to hand sew a kilt, I would check out Barb Tewksbury's book, The Art of Kilt Making. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Great book. Great illustrations. Great introduction. Needles. Mac, do you have any thoughts on needles? We use ballpoint needles, universal kind of size.
Yeah, there's nothing spectacular for the needles. Because it's not like you're sewing through. It's like a woven, so it's not like.
It's not a knit where it's going to kind of gather or poke things through the hole.
Yeah, what about the straps though? Because you did mention, would you need a special needle for going through the leather?
You need a leather needle, or if you're using hand sewing, or just blow through it like we do. It's fine.
Exactly. It's you test it and see what your machine can handle. It might break, it might not. You'll figure it out. Our sewing machine tech, the guy that comes in and services our machines when something really goes wrong that we can't fix, constantly tells us this machine is not supposed to do the things you make it do.
Right.
We're like, nah, it's fine, Robert. It's fine. It works. It's good. So he gets very angry at us. But c'est la vie. When you buy kilt straps, if you find a place where you can buy them, you can occasionally find them with pre-punched holes in a square pattern on the back side to actually hand sew it to your kilt. If you can't find those, you can always take a drill and a very tiny drill bit and take the kilt strap and put it on a block of wood and then just drill a pattern in the butt end of the strap, and then you can actually just hand sew through those holes. You don't want to try to hand sew and poke holes through the leather. Depending on how thick the leather is, it will be nigh on impossible, and you will put holes on the other side of your thumb.
Well, that's why thimbles were invented, but yeah, you're going to ruin the needle too. Break the needle.
Mac and I both look at you with scorn. Thimbles. Psh.
They call them old iron thumb.
Yeah. Calluses. Pretty much.
Calluses the size of Ben Nevis.
Anything else, Mac, you can think of for what you would need equipment-wise to sew a kilt? You don't need. There's nothing specific like a particular machine.
I mean, you could go as simple as just thread and needle, or you could go as extensive as all the different machines to different parts of the process. So there's a gamut you can run.
Yep.
I think the obvious takeaway I would have would be don't spend too much and don't expect your first project to be perfect. Assume you're going to have to go through some trial and error, and this is going to be a beta kilt. Do a couple of test projects before you do your one love kilt, if you're really into it like that.
Yeah.
And then you'll decide what equipment's going to work best.
The only thing that I would, I agree with you and I disagree with you.
Surprise, surprise.
Matt Newsom, way back when, I think it was him that said this. I'm going to give him credit anyway. We were talking about, getting cheap fabric for your first kilt because you're going to screw it up, you're going to hate it, and da-da-da-da-da. Mm-hmm. Matt's point was, yes, but if you start off with poor quality fabric, you're going to not like the kilt even if it fits well. So if you start off with the right cloth for your kilt, then it'll feel better and it'll hang better, it'll swing better, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's a middle ground.
I don't disagree, and it may be the kilt making snobbery of it, and I'm not calling Matt a snob. I'll include myself in that. I'm thinking like wool is better than an acrylic or something you buy from Walmart or flannel or something like that. But in the same token, if you just go to Walmart and buy flannel bed sheets and make a kilt out of that, it's going to be a flannel bed sheet kilt. It's not going to be like a family heirloom.
Conversely, I think there's something you said for building confidence. Like one of my stories is used to know a guy in the SCA who his persona name was actually Angus the Tailor, and he was very good at doing a garb construction. He was part of the 14th century mafia, if you know what that is. Really, really top-notch tailor, and he wanted to make a modern kilt for his wedding. So he bought tartan wool from a mill and everything, and he said one of the most terrifying moments of his life was laying that fabric out on the floor and starting to cut because of how much it cost. He's like, I cannot screw this up. I can't screw this up. I can't screw this up. So,
and that's when you screw it up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's from somebody who had a lot of experience sewing and hand sewing stuff for medieval reenactment. So
there's also a difference between sewing, which you can pick out the stitches, and cutting.
Right.
Once you cut, it's cut.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Mac's like, yup. All right, who was that, Mac, or was that you?
That was me.
All right, Mr. Mac.
Uh-oh.
All right, so I gotta love the names that come in.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Mickey Mouse.
Dr. Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Okay.
He's graduated.
Well, I was given brooches.
Bend over and cough.
You're going to be a stent.
Turn your head and cough.
There's
a lot of vasectomy, Mickey. Nope.
There's a lot of cartoons that can be made for this episode for that.
Rule 42, they probably already have been. Or Rule 34, I mean.
So, Dr. Mickey Mouse was given brooches as a gift since he's been wearing his kilt. Can brooches be worn in place of kilt pins?
I think Dr. Mickey Mouse actually may have submitted this question to us a while ago, and we weren't able to get to it because of time constraints. The brooches were given to him by nurses on staff. Something like
potentially
that. Yeah. I think I remember this question coming over the interwebs. So, my answer is sure. Yeah, you could do it. It's with a lot of men's jewelry, the sentimentality of something can trump what it actually looks like almost. So if it means something to you and it doesn't look really awkward with the kilt, then sure, you could use it. I mean, if it's like a big giant cloisonne snowman smoking a pipe, then I don't think you'd want to do that. If it's like your grandma's rhinestone, kitty cat with a ball of yarn, I don't think that would make a very good kilt pin. But assuming
maybe it's his kitty cat with a ball of yarn.
Maybe he's into rhinestones. I don't know. I don't think there's much of a place for rhinestones in Highland dress, but I could be wrong. So,
but yes and no. There's jewels on top of plaid brooches and other things. There's jewels involved.
You gonna bedazzle your Prince Charlie?
I'm gonna have to your black light kilt with the neon reflective thing.
Yeah.
Bedazzled kilt stripes.
There you go.
Be the bee's knees, baby.
Mac Liberace.
Exactly. I was gonna say Mick Elvis more, but yeah.
Yes. Actually, there are kilted Elvis impersonators.
No, there shouldn't be.
Oh, but there are.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, I mean, you agree, right? You could use a a brooch.
It's the. Of course you agree, right? Right.
Please agree with me for once.
No, I agree. My point would be making sure that it is of appropriate size. Mm-hmm. That would kind of be the deciding factor for me. If I was going to wear something, a piece of jewelry or kit that my great grandfather had or my grandma or whatever, and I wanted to include it on the kilt to honor them, I would make sure it's not huge and it's not tiny. If my grandfather had a small American flag lapel badge that he always wore, and I wanted to wear that on my kilt as my kilt pin, it would be too small. Conversely, if my grandmom had like a hubcap size, saucer dinner plate kind of thing, I wouldn't wear that on the kilt either. It should be 2 to 3 inches tall-ish, that kind of area, about the size of a traditional kilt pin, not oversized, not undersized. It's Goldilocks. It's just right.
Mm-hmm. Well, our Fenris kilt pin is actually relatively large. It's almost like 5 inches, right? At maximum.
I don't think it's that. I think it's about 4 1/4.
Okay,
if
but that's
memory
still
serves. It's bigger,
large.
It's bigger than most, yes, but it's not crazy big that it looks like you're wearing a belt buckle on the side of your kilt or something crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say personal preference. I would veer away from it if it's completely round, or if it is completely round, go for the more Victorian look and wear it higher up, closer to mid thigh, or a little closer to the hip, which is how they wore kilt pins back then, because they actually did use some kilt pins as a closure because they didn't have the third strap. I would do that to make sure it's balanced on the kilt so it doesn't look like it's weird, a dot hanging down there, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if it's an oblong shape or something, then normal placement on the kilt where you'd put your normal kilt pin should be fine. Does that make sense?
No, I agree.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Indeed. Cheers.
Enjoy.
All right, Mr. Eric.
Okay. Are you feeling warmed up?
Not yet. Yeah.
No?
2 more of these and I'll be warmed up.
Okay. All right. I'll go with a regular question now then.
No, I'm fine for whatever.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're sure?
I meant warmed up as in scotch. But
I was thinking warmed up as in
ready to go.
Ready for the big time.
I'm in the zone,
all right,
baby.
Well, then here we go. Ben, if that is your real name, said, "Hey, I'd love to hear your opinions about that Netflix movie. What was it called? Castle for something? Castle for Christmas. That's it. Because of this movie, my wife is trying to talk me into getting a tweed kilt. But he's wondering what we think of the movie.
Okay.
We could talk about what we think of the whole hullabaloo about the movie, actually. And we do have some visual aids for this one, since we did have this question preloaded. So as we discuss, we'll bring up a few images for you guys. For talking points.
All right. Mac, bring Mac onto camera as well at some point. Mac watched it, Eric watched it, and I watched it.
Yep.
All of us have vidied the movie, as it was. What did you think of the movie? We watched it with Mac, did you watch it with your wife? Or were you by yourself when you watched the movie?
She was in the room. They were watching. The kids had some other Disney holiday stuff on, so I was watching it on my phone via the Netflix app.
Now, did Brittany laugh at you when you started crying at the sensitive parts, or was no? Did you tear up, Mac?
She had to keep waking me up.
That didn't happen to me at all, Mac. No, I was like through the whole
Mac,
thing.
You're supposed to be working.
You did watch it with your wife.
I did indeed.
I watched it with my wife.
Yep.
So what did you think of the movie?
I will make sure that I very loudly and clearly preface this by saying that this is our opinion, and that opinions on the movie are varied. Some people have liked it a lot, some people have hated it, and some people are in the middle. Our basic assessment was it was awful. And I can list down all the various reasons, which could apply to any movie, regardless of setting, actually, because most of it came down to bad writing and bad editing. That being said, we had fun anyway. I think, Mac, you missed out by not watching it with your spouse because it was a lot of fun for us just to riff on. We are not Hallmark movie people, so we had a good time just kind of like tearing it apart. And there were a few parts where we were like, okay, that's cool, that's fun. No. Why did they do that? So we had a good time. And generally, we think the dog should get an Oscar.
Yes.
Dog was the best actor in the movie. No, Angus is the token gay guy.
Who's the dog?
Hamish.
Hamish.
The dog is Hamish.
Yes.
Best actor in the film.
Yeah. I'm ish in your camp. I was actually surprised at the disparity of the reactions to the movie across the different groups.
It lit a fire.
In Scottish media and that kind of thing. You know, the Scots. I saw a couple articles about how the Scots were up in arms about the accents in the movie, and you know the subtitles, and when she was being rude to the taxi driver because she didn't understand them, and blah 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 blah.
But they set themselves up for this because, you know, I read some of the same stuff you did, and one of the takeaways was that one of the Netflix's earlier Twitter posts about the movie, teasing the movie, said, "This will be the most accurate depiction of Scotland ever seen on screen." Really? You're gonna set yourself up there?
Bullshit.
No, just like that's like taunting the dragon at the mouth of the cave. I mean, what are you thinking?
Train Spotting was more accurate than this was.
And my point to that was that Train Spotting was a long time ago, and the economy is much better.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, one Scottish person said, like, "What did we do to hurt you, Netflix?" You know.
That's awesome.
Somebody else said, you know, why not simply hire some actual Scottish actors? Or could Netflix point out Scotland on a map? And the one that really resonated with us was, of course, you know, that's a manor, not a castle. But yeah, they basically they picked on the location, they picked on the accents especially, and they picked on some of the use of slang like dauber and walloper.
Yeah.
Now they used dauber and walloper. They gave the nice translation for those as like a working class person or an idiot or a blowhard. If you look at Urban Dictionary, you'll find other definitions.
Yeah.
So
no, but people,
that was funny.
You know, but in fairness, there were some people in that same Scottish article who loved it. Like, can't wait for number 2.
There were a few who liked it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was a similar kind of parallel here in the U.S., or at least in the Facebook groups and whatnot. There was a good amount of people who loved it. Now, I will say this. I appreciate it. The star of the film, in my not so humble opinion, nothing about me is humble, was Scotland herself. I mean, the landscape, the outdoor scenery was beautiful. That's kind of what got me through it. Was being able to see that, being able to see the kilt in it.
Okay.
It's the act. Okay. You're on the money with the acting was meh, but I think the acting was meh because the writing was so cheesy.
The writing was horrible, and there were several points where you could tell something got dropped on the cutting room floor. There's a couple of things where like, wait, what? Huh? What? Why?
Like the two Frenchmen checking in the hotel.
Exactly. My wife hated that. She's like, "Where do the Italian people come from? What's that about?" It's like there must have been a subplot that they dropped.
Yeah, that they just dropped.
And the locket on the tree at the very end, which is obviously somehow related to the locket that she was wearing in the final scenes, which like it's a MacGuffin that got dropped.
Mm-hmm. It was like, they were actually. It's a callback to the movie Annie. And her locket that her parents gave her.
My wife couldn't sleep that night, and she came up with all these ideas of how they could have used the locket as a plot device. She did say that she did think that the scene with Carrie Ellis in the bathtub was nice fan service for middle-aged women, so she appreciated that. But we are of the generation that we remember him as Wesley from Princess Bride.
Yes. 100%.
And we kept freaking waiting for there to be a scene where you could throw in "As you wish,"
yes,
and
just
it never
a nod.
came.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. No, but it's as far as it served its purpose, meaning it's a cheesy Hallmarky kind of rom-com for the holidays. In that way, and only that way, it has succeeded. Is it, you know, would I recommend you rush out and go buy a ticket? No. If you like romantic comedies, if you like the Hallmark Channel and those type of things, and you're not put off by the sus kind of writing, then you'll enjoy it. It's fine. There's kilts in it. It looks great.
Yeah, I would say it. Or if you're of a kind who doesn't do rom-com movies, but you have a partner who is like you, then riff tracks it. We had a good time. We had a really good time watching it because we just, like I said, we kind of tore it to shreds.
Yeah. Well, now, even if you don't like rom-coms, but you
Exactly.
like kilts and your partner likes rom-coms, great. Then watch it and enjoy it for different reasons.
Yeah. Now, from a back to our real wheelhouse here, talking about the costuming
We're not
and such. And
not
Mac-
Siskel and Ebert?
Yeah. I don't ever want to be Siskel. When you're ready, I'm going to ask you to call up some images. One of the things that struck me, and I think struck you too, there's a couple of things that stand out about the movie, but at the end of the film, there is a party scene, and you see just about every kind of variation of casual to semi-sharp
The whole scale. Yep.
dress with a kilt that we talk about here. So to that end, I'm not sure how well this will show up on screen, but bring up castle number 1, Rocky.
That's Mac.
Mac.
Hold
Rocky.
on. I'm going to do it.
Use your powers. Okay.
Look at that.
So hopefully you guys can see this. But if you look over on the far left, you're going to see a guy in tartan trousers. And then you're going to see a guy wearing a jumper, a wool jumper, and hiking boots. Over on the far right, which is
And his
cut
socks
off.
squished down, by the way.
Socks squished down, like he looks like he's going to go for a hike.
Yep.
I don't know who wears socks squished down today.
Yes, Mac, we're aware of this. You have next. You have the guy in the tweed with the velvet collar. He's a background character, but he is the best dressed guy in the whole darn movie.
I'll agree with that.
I tried really hard to find other images of him, and I'll show them later. But it's just like, damn, that's a good outfit. That's really good. There is one guy in a proper PC, which you can barely see over on the far right. You can just see in this screen cap. You can only see his vest, unfortunately.
His belly.
His belly sticking out. Yep.
He's behind the lady in the gold dress.
Yep. And there's that's Midge. I think
I'm
Marty.
horrible with character actors.
Okay. There's a guy towards the back on the right in a leather chieftain's vest and Highland shirt and hiking boots. And then behind him you see Angus in a Fair Isle sweater. And then you see the guy with the bow tie and what looks like a Saxon vest and cream hose and stuff. And it's not
Semi-dress sporran.
Yeah, and it's not great. Special mention for the guy who was just in the suit with the braided beard. I don't know where that came from. And then we have, of course, our Duke in a Prince Charlie. He did actually have a jacket on with the outfit earlier in the film, but he takes it off before they even enter the hall for the party. And he is wearing ghillie boots with that outfit. What do you want to look at next as a close-up, Rocky?
You know the photo's not me.
All right, let's tear him to shreds. Call up castle number 6, please. Since we're talking about Carrie. We'll tell you a lot of the time that one thing you should never do is wear a studded tuxedo shirt with a Prince Charlie. So, ta-da! What this underscored for me is that half the things we talk about here as our impression of convention doesn't apply to the rest of the world. People break these rules all the time. I like the sporran. I like the fact that he's got the classic horsehair sporran.
Is it goat hair or horse hair? Okay.
Goat hair. Yeah. Sorry. It's a bit much. And
Do we know his last name in the movie?
Dunbar is all they say.
No, it's Dunbar's the castle. Castle.
I thought they said his last name, and I couldn't remember what it was, and I wasn't going to
Because he's wearing the
rewatch it
McLean
to find
Duarte
out.
tartan,
Right.
but he's not wearing Dunbar. I don't know if his last name is Dunbar.
He's supposed to be the Duke of Dunbar. There is no Duke of Dunbar, by the way.
What about Dunbar?
Dunbar. I looked that up. Here, why don't you go back to us for a minute?
Just stutter. It's Dunbar.
Dun, dun, dun.
For those who really want to know, where's my note on this?
No, it's done.
Oh, is it done? Yeah, so basically, Dunbar, there's actually a town called Dunbar. It's in Haddingtonshire,
Yep.
up on the Forth. The term bar means top, tip, crop, or produce, from the Old Irish bar, top, tip, crop, and produce, or Gaelic bar, height or hill, and dun also means hill or a fortified mound. So the name of the castle, technically, as Dunbar, is Fort Hilltop, or Fort Hilltop Fort. So, just so you know, they wanted to make sure you knew that it was on a hill.
This castle, that's actually a manor.
It's actually a manor house.
Yeah.
I have notes on that too, but I don't have to talk about it. I'm going to show you call up castle number 4, please, Mac. Now, the party is supposed to be this village, so you have, I think they're trying to show, like, real, quote-unquote, people, quote-unquote. But this guy, he's obviously got more... He's got
panache.
He's got some panache here. I mean, look, he's got a tweed jacket with the ticket pocket, which is very de rigueur right now, and the specialized collar. He's got a pocket square. It's hard to see in this photo, but he actually does have a watch fob on his watch chain. And the sporran, I couldn't make out what style the sporran was, but it was just
looks like a day sporran. It's a black blob in this photo.
Yeah,
but it looks like a day sporran. I will point out Glencairn glass.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and
it's in the movie quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it struck me that this guy looks so good, but he's just in the background.
Yeah.
This is peak elegant day wear as far as I'm concerned.
Is it Cur Ancient?
I can't tell. No, I don't think it's Cur Ancient.
I thought it was hay.
No, it's not hay.
I've
never seen it.
I didn't have a stored Butte.
Okay.
Eh.
No.
It has a white stripe in it.
There is a serial kilter in the movie, and that's Thomas, who's basically the Duke's kind of right-hand man. The first time you see him is in when he's doing a tour guide thing, and that's Castle 00, Mac, if you please.
He's in his punk rock phase.
Right. Yes. I mean, is this the lead singer of the Real Mackenzies, or is it
Paul Mackenzie. He's wearing the Mackenzie
tartan. I know. He looks like freaking Paul Mackenzie.
That's spectacular. We should have brought up a picture of Paul Mackenzie for the edited version.
Okay.
Paul Mackenzie photo here.
By the way, that jacket is now for sale. There is a place called California Jackets, which is making a reproduction of that very jacket. You can buy it for $185. Yeah. So I don't know what they thought the impact of this film would be, but yeah, they thought so.
The huge cultural impact of Brooke Shields and
I don't know, man, but you can't see it in his photos, but he is wearing I can't remember if they're Dice or Argyle hose, but he did have
I think they're diced.
They were diced, and he's got garter ties instead of flashes.
I love the plain black T-shirt with it as well.
Right.
It is very much a punk rocky kind of look. Just I don't care. This is fun.
He has the generic thistle cap badge from Gaelic Themes. He has a feather in the Glengarry for I don't know why, because you wouldn't actually wear that unless he's supposed to be a clan chief. And then he's got a what looks like a vintage military dress sporran.
Wouldn't clan chiefs have 3 feathers?
Well, yeah.
So one maybe he's an armiger.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot they could have done with this plot that they didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the outfit definitely looks like he's going to go on stage and sing some punk tunes. The combination is just kind of odd. I know what they were trying to go for was he's an ordinary guy. He's putting on the show for the tourists. He's trying to put together a shoestring budget presentation thing, and it's supposed to look rustic and, like he's a humble guy trying to do something that's not really what he wants to be doing. He looks a lot better if you call image castle number 3. This is the same character's outfit in the dance scene.
The look on his face is spectacular you got there.
That's what I could do. I actually like this outfit. I wouldn't wear it to a evening party because I'm more stuffy than these people, I think. But he has tweed kilts in a few parts of the film. I don't know if you qualify this as a tweed, but he has a tweed kilt in our part of the film. He is wearing a buckle underneath his waistcoat, which we usually don't recommend doing unless he's planning on taking that waistcoat off sometime very soon. And he's got the classic Prince Charlie sporran. So this is a guy who actually wears kilts on a regular basis, if you believe the movie.
I will point this out. I hate that kilt. The set size of that pattern is like 3/4 of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
If it's tweed, I want to see it. I haven't seen many tweeds that are that Christmassy or on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
It's something.
I had another picture of his tweed kilt, but I'm not going to bother with it right now.
Okay.
Do you think most of the accessories are higher accessories?
No.
We know that House of Cheviot provided the kilt hose, for instance.
Yeah, that was in the comments here as well, and it looked like Loch Heron blankets and all around in the castle.
They went over the top in the movie with tartan on everything, which is fine and good.
Want to come back to us for a second?
Yeah.
I have 2 more images we'll get to, but if you want to keep going. But yeah, they went over the
Wrap it
top
up
with
quick.
freaking Christmas decorations. I mean, oh yeah, it's the humble village and the castle that's fallen on hard times, and it's like, but we happen to have all these huge, expensive LED light decorations in the attic apparently, because like,
Yep.
Everywhere.
Reeds everywhere, and yeah, of course.
ridiculous,
Of course, because if you don't have money, you go all for Christmas.
right? So I don't know. I mean, and that the one image we didn't show was the character Angus in the Fair Isle sweater. Again, perfectly acceptable casual kilt outfit, So it's funny because the party scene actually was kind of cool in that respect.
Yeah.
If you take it, I found it the juxtaposition of the women in these beautiful evening gowns with the guys in their casual day wear a little bit
Or work boots and
a little bit
jumper.
odd. It's like, oh, they're supposed to look manly and rustic and not pretentious, and it's like, okay, we get it, fine, we get it, but
Indeed.
yeah, and we know some women had different opinions of the wedding or of the gown.
Yes, Casey did not like.
Casey hated the gown. My wife was like, eh. Her point was she wished we could see something more than Royal Stuart on women's clothing.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit more historical of a cut, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not historical. It's a ball gown. It's completely
No,
modern.
but she
Yeah,
found
but
it
she-
in the castle.
She
Remember?
found it in
And
bedroom
it was-
number 9, and
and
I
it-
think it belonged to his previous wife, and that was a plot point that they dropped on the floor.
Dun dun dun.
Very well could have been.
And that whole, what's the deal with the locket? I think the locket must have had like a picture of her grandfather and his grandmother, and they were in love or some BS like that.
Are you angling for a Christmas gift?
Are you
Give me the
saying
locket.
No.
they're related? They're
No.
brother and sister?
But here's my
What a
pitch.
twist.
Here's my pitch for the a better version of the movie.
Part 2.
No. This is completely different, but the same concept. We make a rom-com.
Prequel.
We call it Hogmanay, right? And it's an authoress who is famous for her historical fiction about the Highlands and love stories during the Jacobite uprising, the 45. See where I'm going with this?
No idea, Eric.
And meets a guy who is a historical preservationist guy, and he hates everything she's written because it's not accurate. And they meet at the big Hogmanay, it ends with a big Hogmanay celebration, which is a fundraiser to save a battlefield.
And there's a murder.
And there's a real castle. There's a real freaking castle.
Not a manor house?
Not a manor house.
Not a manor house. Okay.
But I think, but think about it. I mean, you could like dig up archaeological remains. You could go into the cellar and they find out that, his grandmother really, or his great-great-great-grandmother really was there at the battle, like his family's history said. But
And
the
her
historical
body
society hated him.
was
And
still there in the basement.
yeah,
No. Okay.
now back me up, guys. I think they missed an opportunity to riff on the whole Outlander thing, big time. But
I think they were going somewhat Outlander, somewhat. Who's the lady that does the Harry Potter thing?
J.K. Rowling?
Yeah, like her being like attacked on Twitter and and I don't know.
She's
I think they were
attacked for
kind of
much more weighty issues than killing a character.
understood, but it's I think it's kind of in line with what the loosely what
I
the
get that.
idea was based on.
I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we could make a better movie. I will say
We
one.
should.
I will say one thing. The movie.
Krampus
There is a movie called
in
Krampus.
the Highlands. A Krampus castle for Christmas.
Hey guys,
Budget of $87. We already have the mask.
he has to find the magical iron brew in order to get home.
He has to get the kids out of the bag.
No, he put the wrong kid in the bag.
Oh,
And he has to go on a quest
what
to
a
get the
rascal.
kid out of the
To
bag.
put the kid back.
Oh my god, I love
Starring
this.
Liam.
I love this. Oh man.
Hollywood, you hear that?
There you
We're
go.
for hire. We can do this.
Yeah, we're
All right.
ready.
All right, this is enough.
Okay.
Who's up next? Mac.
I told you
you're
we'd shaggy dog about that, but I think
up.
it was
Deliver
worth
us from hell.
Well,
Rom-com,
we have
but not
we
all of our
have Sean
trespasses.
asking, are there any historical records of people wearing kilts in Wales before the 1990s?
it. Not that I'm aware of.
Sure, if they were Scottish and traveled to Wales.
Yeah.
The no, there's actually there's an interesting video. Eric will like put in a link or put in the a clip of it here. There's an
As you
interesting
wish.
video about the a guy, I think maybe a Path thing or something, where there's a guy interviewing people. It's from like the 50s in Wales.
Oh, yeah, the
asking
newsreel.
the people on the street, man on the street in Wales, what do you think about Welsh kilts? And should Welsh wear kilts? And should Welsh adopt the kilt as part of their national costume? And the overwhelming majority of them back in the 50s or whatever decade it was in, were just like, no,
60s.
that's crazy. No, you shouldn't do that.
Yep.
My Welsh accent is horrible. But there was a couple, okay, sure. But
One or two, but the majority were just like, nah, it's not a good idea.
It's Scottish. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that was from the 1960s. I do believe I have it saved somewhere. But there's, times have changed, traditions have changed, and the whole Welsh thing is brand new.
But it's not a
from
new
that
idea.
standpoint. It's not a new idea, which is what that newsreel taught us. It's not a new idea, but it actually catching on was definitely part and parcel of the rise in kilt popularity post Braveheart, just the way everybody else got a boost to kilt culture back in the 90s. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mack, that was a short one. Give me another one.
All right. So, this is from Cypher 9. Hello, sirs. I have a problem. I am fat, and for the life of me, can't keep my kilt up in the front. It always slips down. My wife says I have a woman's butt, and it pushes my kilt up in the back and down the front. Help in big letters, exclamation points, LOL.
Help
Hello.
all.
What's his name?
Cypher.
Hello, Cypher. I too suffer from too much bread. There's a few body types of bigger guys. Basically the shape that I'm going to talk about is the guy with the offset tires, where you have a belly coming out in the front and a rear end coming out in the back. You don't have a flat butt. You do have a big butt in the back. And what ends up happening is your gut kind of pushes it down and your butt in the back pushes it up. So side view, your kilt goes on a little bit of an angle. A couple things. One, in some ways, there's not a lot you can do because the kilt has to travel out around the widest part of your butt and go down. So either it's going to go down in the front and up in the back, or you're going to try to keep it level at the top and it'll be angled on the bottom up towards your butt because it travels more. How do you keep your kilt up? One idea: suspenders. If you're wearing a vest or a sweater or something like that over the top half of your torso, or your torso, not the top half of your torso, that'd be a half shirt, kind of creepy with a kilt. If you're going to wear a sweater or something like that, you can wear a pair of suspenders under it, and that helps to keep it up. If you are not going to wear a sweater, or you're not going to wear something like that can cover the suspenders, a vest or something, the other thing I can suggest is, Mac, you may know what I'm actually talking about, or the tech name for it, like rubberized material that some dress pants have in them.
Grip strip or whatever they call it.
It's a grippy kind of rubber material. It's meant to keep your shirt tucked in. If you put it in a kilt, you're actually using it for the inverse thing. It's not to keep your kilt or your shirt tucked in. It's to keep your kilt from going down. So your kilt doesn't have a crotch, doesn't have knees. Your crotch and your knees of your pants are what helps it kind of come down over time. As you bend your knee, here's an example. Take your hand, put it on your knee, square on your kneecap, then bend your knee, and you feel your arm kind of go down. It's pulling down your pants in the same way. Your crotch kind of does the same thing to it. Exactly, back and forth. I'm going to get up and do a dance. So, that is kind of why your pants come down every time. Your kilt does not have knees. Your kilt does not have a crotch. Therefore, it won't fall down in the same way. But you have to make sure it's snug on you. And if you wear the rubberized kind of strip around the inside, it'll help, like grabbing onto the shirt, like a little kid grabbing onto the...
It's like using the shirt as suspenders, as braces, basically.
Yes, exactly. Helps keep it up a little bit more. Any other thoughts?
Is the idea to try and get the upper edge as horizontal as possible, so you're still...
Yes.
Okay.
In my thoughts, yes, I would try to keep it up above the widest part of you and snug it down. You're tighten the kilt around the widest part of you or just above the widest part, so it doesn't tend to want to go down. The rubberized strip will help that as well. But the more it kind of dips down in the front, the more it's going to fall under your belly, and it's going to kind of be pushed down in the front.
Yeah, and that can happen with those of us who have a flat butt also. I have a bit of a belly and I have a flat butt, so I do have some undercutting going on unless I really make sure it's fit very snugly and properly. The riding up in the back is usually a bigger problem for guys. Do not think that you can have a kilt specially cut to be longer in the back and shorter in the front to compensate. We've had a few times when people have tried to ask us to create something like that. It doesn't really help. It doesn't do the job the way you think it's going to. It just winds up in a weird lopsided garment, and I don't know. Anyways, actually made one that you just really can't.
You could, but the problem is the kilt is made. A kilt made from tartan is in a grid, and if you have a slope down the front, or you try to put a slope in the front, it's going to disrupt the grid. You're going to put the waistband on at a weird angle, or conversely on the bottom, you have to hem the front but not the back, and then you end up with like Egyptian tiered or like tails.
Ooh, Egyptian tiered.
Yes.
I've never heard that term. Yes. Interesting. So yeah, basically getting it to hang as horizontal as possible is your best bet. Is having a higher rise or a longer length helpful to guys with that body shape?
A higher rise, not necessarily. It gets into the other body dimensions of bigger dudes. Whether it's, for lack of technical terms, you have guys that are, they're big, but they're solid. Like you can bounce a quarter off them. They're not, you push on and their belly is hard as a rock. Then you have guys who are more fluffy, marshmallowy kind of thing. And when you put a kilt on and cinch it in, it kind of, it squishes things around, and you're just displacing, flesh. So it's a difficult one. You kind of got to take it on a case by case basis.
Okay, but that's basically the best.
Yeah,
we can offer.
He has been responding to some of the comments here, and said, "Thing with wool, wool itches him to death. So making it tight will drive him insane. It just falls down off my belly, and I end up pulling up every 5 minutes or so. So he's constantly jerking it.
It sounds to me like the braces are the answer, and if the wool is really a problem, then maybe consider a polyviscose kilt, which would be lighter anyway."
Or a pair of like bike shorts or longer underwear. That's not going to go. Wearing it tight shouldn't, unless you have some kind of crazy allergy where if it gets wet from sweat and you get wool lanolin pulled in and touches your skin and you get on fire. That's something different. But you shouldn't be, if your shirt is tucked in and you're wearing a pair of bike shorts, for lack of a better term. You shouldn't really be in contact with it much, so shouldn't be that big of a thing.
Yeah, they're related but kind of almost separate issues: the allergic reaction versus the kilt cut. But it sounds like the braces would allow it to hang properly and also not put pressure on as opposed to cinching it down. So
agreed.
Not an easy one to fix. You're far from alone. A lot of people struggle with this.
Yep.
That's basically the best answer I think we can give.
Agreed.
Yep. So.
Hope that helps, Mr. Eric.
Okay.
Before we get to the next question,
it's that time, isn't it?
We should do our So, Eric,
I'm ready.
Who's the Kilt ambassador for this month? I'm doing Mac's job. It's fun, I promise.
It is fun, Rocky, because our ambassador this month. Santa. We wanted to get hold of Santa. Unfortunately, he was not available for direct comment. We did have the good fortune of being able to contact several of his helpers and supporters, particularly those members of the famous Clan Claws, who are the Kilted Santas, you may have met out in your travels about in the Celtic community. Santa, of course, is the spirit of goodwill, good cheer, hope for the future, and brotherly love that makes the season very special indeed.
Indeed it does.
Is that an easy way to put it, right?
Yeah.
And Santa, the big guy, the big man, Big Red.
Who better?
Sandy Claus.
Who better?
St. Nicholas, Father Christmas.
Who better to be a Kilt ambassador than Santa? The man exudes happiness and joy. And what other garment aside from a kilt elicits such joy, such smiles, such happiness than the kilt itself.
It's true.
So the pairing of Santa and the kilt, match made in heaven, and it's exactly as it should be. What says Christmas more than tartan decorations? Indeed.
Well, eggnog.
Eggnog.
So yeah, it's basically this is a phenomenon, and we think it's worth noting. In fact, I'm going to put on my official Clan Claws hat now.
Oh, I have a hat too.
Yeah, I do. So I'm getting the spirit here.
Yeah. Eric and I are official elves
Yep.
in Clan Claws. We have our Clan Claws Believe cap badge with a reindeer on there.
Yeah, can you guys call up the image of the Clan Claws badge, please? It's, we got a picture of my hat.
Dead sexy
Like,
and Santa hat.
Badge on hat. There we
Yep.
go. Stylin'. Yeah, Believe is the clan motto, and the official animal is a reindeer. And Clan Claws is not the only source of people who do kilted. I just want to play with it like it's a cat toy. They're not the only ones who do kilted Santa Claus. A number of people get into it because they're trying to combine their Celtic fun with Christmas fun. But it really does work. We've had a couple different quotes from people. We went out and asked people what they thought about this, and it's things like Santa is the bringer of joy. When Santa waves at someone, there's a 97% chance they will wave back, followed by a smile. You know, how many of us could say that?
Same thing with kilts.
Yeah. We as Santa's warm hearts and make people feel warmth and kindness. And for this person who knows Santa, it says, you know, the kilt is about inclusion and representation. As we grow up, we learn that Santa does not look the same everywhere. Different countries have different looks and names for Santa. So it makes perfect sense. You'd have a Celtic-y
Kilted Santa for Scotland.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Another person said Santa is around because the world needs symbols of kindness and masculine figures that build things that give joy to children, because Kilted Santa is our Santa.
Indeed.
There's two separate thoughts, I guess. Kilted Santa is our Santa, but the importance of Santa.
Yeah, the importance.
Another person commented that we need Santa in this world because wherever we are, we all just need a little bit of magic.
The kilt, and I'm going to keep drawing parallels. The kilt is magic in the same way that it gives you confidence. You stand a little taller, your shoulders back a little bit more. It elicits that same joy that Santa brings. And Santa is magic. The kilt is magic. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, now different people have different attitudes on whether, as a Santa's helper, you should wear a kilt or not. Sometimes they're concerned that the kilt will get more attention than it being Santa himself in the first place. Sometimes it confuses some of the older folks, apparently. But so your mileage may vary on whether you want to be a Santa's helper in a kilt or not. If you do want to, we highly encourage you to check out Clan Claws. They do have a website, and they have a Facebook group, which I think the name of the Facebook group is...
I think it's just Clan Claws.
It's just Clan Claws, right?
Clan Claws.
And they do have their own tartan. You may have seen it in a couple of the photos that we posted a minute ago. So, Mac, if you can call up the tartan, please. There it is. That is the official Clan Claws tartan. We actually have you got a kilt in the shop right now for somebody, right?
Yes, yeah, we were working on one probably this weekend. We'll be working on it.
Nice.
Just in time for Christmas.
Let's hope so. How are we going to deliver all those kilts in one night?
Casey's going to be on the naughty list if she doesn't make it in time.
Exactly.
Ooh. So, basically, to Santa,
Yes.
to all of those who believe in Santa, and to all those who believe in making the concept of Santa available to everyone and bigger and better Christmases from henceforth.
Yep.
God bless us, everyone.
To joy into the season.
Cheers. Sláinte. I'm going to ask Santa for more Drambuie.
There.
Yeah, it is warm.
Yeah.
I love this hat, though. My it's not an actual tartan, by the way, but I just found it somewhere. It's it's awesome.
Oh, that's adorable.
I love it.
All right. Who was that? You or Mac?
Well, I think we usually do a Mac question
All right.
after we've done the ambassador. So,
Mr. Mac, what have we got going on out in the YouTubes?
All right, so we have Lewis asking, is there a clan badge registration? And if I want to create a clan badge for my father's last name, where can I look up different symbols that might mean to put in the middle of the badge?
Is there a registration for it? It's not
No.
really a Lord Lion thing.
Here's the thing. It is a Lord Lion thing, but it's not open to just anybody. Unlike anybody can design a tartan, heraldry, clan badges are a very particular Scottish outgrowth of heraldry that you would see in Britain in general or in other parts of Europe. Therefore, it is highly regulated. Not everybody gets to be an armiger, that is a person who has the right to bear arms. And that's not arms in terms of pew-pew, that's arms in the terms of a coat of arms. Not everyone gets to have a coat of arms. You have to be of the aristocracy. You have to have you have to have inherited it somehow, or you have to have been granted it by the crown. So, there may be a petition process for doing exceptions to the rule. But you cannot actually create a coat of arms for yourself and have it be recognized or registered with the Scottish government or anything like that. Unlike tartan, which because it's a creative art form in some ways, and it's more broad as a creative art form than heraldry, it's easier for people to get into, has been opened up, and anybody can register a tartan. And part of that is because not all tartans were associated with families. However, heraldry has always been associated with a line of title. Okay? So that's the legality of it. If you want to create one for fun and are not concerned about it being recognized by an authority like the Scottish government or the British Crown or anything like that, go for it. Have fun with it. And you can find many artists out there who will render it for you once you have the design in place. Look up online any websites that have to do with heraldry, because basically, rather than starting with a clan badge, you're going to want to start with a coat of arms that represents the family, or perhaps your father as an individual, and then you're going to want to decide on the elements of that. Basically, any object in the world at this point can be turned into what's called a heraldic device. That is an element in a work of heraldry. So it could be an animal, it could be an object. In the Victorian age, they were really big into using machinery, like propellers and gears and stuff, because industrialists. So it could be almost anything. Once you have a coat of arms worked out, then you take the main element of that. Yep. Well, basically, basic way it goes is you have the shield, the helmet with a helmet crest, and then the thing on the helmet crest would become the clan badge.
Yeah.
I'm suggesting you kind of cut out the middle part and not worry about the helmet crest, but pick a thing that feels like it represents your dad or represents your family, and then build the design off of that. There's really no rules about heraldry in terms of the object you use. There are rules about how you represent it, and good heraldry websites will tell you how to do that. Or, and here's a plug for my favorite club, check out the Society for Creative Anachronism. They've been doing heraldry for people for 35, 40 years, and there's a whole plethora, a whole community within the community of people who just specialize on doing heraldry and doing original designs in heraldry. So you can kind of get their advice on how to use color, how to use representation of the animal if it's what you use, etc., etc., etc. All that's going to make it the badge then is that you take the principal element, like a rabbit, and you put it inside a heraldic belt or garter, and then you come up with a motto. The motto can be in English, it can be in Latin, it could be in Gaelic. That's entirely up to you. That's the Drambuie talking. That really fueled my motor mouth. But
what he said.
But that's basically it. You will not be recognized by a governmental authority. It is not registered anywhere. You can register it with the SCA. If you're into medieval reenacting, you can join the SCA and they'll register it for you, and then nobody in the SCA can copy it. But in the world at large, it's just going to be your thing. Yeah.
Does
that help?
Sure. I'm
Okay.
not him, but sure.
Yeah.
The more there's a weird bell curve of the knowing little to knowing enough or too much, and the more you start to learn, the more you realize you don't know enough, and you keep diving into it and learning more and more and more. So if you want to do it within the bounds of good taste, and you want to do it within the bounds of heraldic law and that kind of thing, and you want it to be a good design, then I would say study up on it and read more before you just jump in and try to do something.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of things that they would tell you. If you get advice from somebody who knows how to do this stuff, that's the kind of thing they will tell you. And they'll go into aspects of like, okay, are you trying to represent a certain line of the family, or you're trying to represent the marriage of the family? Are you trying to make it more of a badge, which is kind of a more simplified design? You're trying to make it a a full coat of arms, so there's a whole bunch of different parts to it. You can spend a lot of time on this. It can be a hobby in of itself. But I would keep it simple. Think about a symbol that represents the man, that will resonate with you and anybody else who cares about him, and take it from there. That's basically all I would say. And then find a good artist to render it for you. One heraldic design or cap badge can be rendered in all kinds of different art styles. It can be very simple, it can be very fancy, it can be very baroque, it can be very abstract. That stuff doesn't enter into heraldry itself, into codification of heraldry. That's all just artistic representation. So there's a lot of fun you can have with it. Everything from t-shirts to tattoos to jewelry, and any number of different things you do. Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm rambling because it's something I care about. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Eric.
Gotta catch my breath now. All right. Here's a weighty one. You ready?
Weighty.
Weighty. Aaron Peabody wanted to ask all three of us, and this is a philosophical question as well as a style question. Where would you each personally draw the line between a kilted outfit being clothing or a kilted outfit becoming a costume or becoming costume-y, like looking kind of fake? I mean, is there a particular accessory that we think is a problem? Is there one thing that if you put it on, it instantly is going to push the whole ensemble into looking like a costume, or like you don't take it seriously, or like it's a theatrical thing?
Is there one thing? Matt, bring yourself in. He wants your opinion on this too.
He wanted our opinions from perspective of being reenactors also, but we might want to keep that separate.
One thing I'll say, I don't think there's one thing, but it's kind of what's the quote about pornography. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. It's kind of that, where it's in Highland wear, generally the simpler the better, and if you're trying too hard or putting too many things in, or trying to substitute things, it can start to look odd, and then the needle goes up and you go over the edge. So is there one thing? In my mind, no. There's a lot of things, and any one individual thing may not be, oh my god, it's a costume now, but if you add a few of them up, maybe it gets into that territory.
More of a critical mass kind of a thing. Yeah.
Mac, anything? So let's do we all agree with what I just said there?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So, worst mistake that either a trend or a thing that you think when you do it, it's just like, what are you doing? Seriously, you're screwing this up. Worst one.
I'm gonna go Jimmy Cap.
Okay.
I'm gonna go right off the
Jimmy
bat.
Yeah.
For those like especially some of the ones we've seen in you can get when the Spirit of Halloween stores are up and you get those.
Explain what it is. See you, Jimmy.
Don't Google it.
No, don't Google Jimmy hat.
Right, that's different.
Slang for condom. But a See You Jimmy hat, it's the tam with the fake orange hair coming out down the sides.
So yeah, that is where I go automatically to something like that.
Okay.
So that's where I first went.
Okay.
I think similarly, my mind, since he had asked was there one accessory you think would really just push it over the edge? The first thing that came to my mind was tartan tams. So basically the See You Jimmy hat, but without the fake hair. See You Jimmy hats, by the way, were actually, the name comes from a comedian. I think in the 70s or in the 80s. I think it was in the 80s. He did a whole bunch of shtick about cliche Scottish people, and it stuck because he'd always put this hat and hair thing on, and so it became a thing. So that is the one thing, but it's definitely a critical mass thing for me. I do have, my personal sense is that there's kind of a spectrum of it. On the one end, you have people who want to look Scottish, but they're not trying to do any real research or anything, and they just go and find, God's forbid, but a Halloween costume, or they go to some place like Amazon or eBay and find complete Scottish outfit, which includes a kilt, a belt, a sporran, and they just kind of okay, good enough. I got my uniform. Done. And that stuff you're buying then, it's low quality. It doesn't fit. It doesn't look right. It's not good. And so it just shows that you put in no effort into researching it.
Now, budget issues.
Budget is a thing, but I think there are ways to deal with the budget, even a very, very tight budget. There are ways to deal with it and not come off like you don't care and like you're wearing it like a costume. I think it's like, are you wearing it like a costume?
So where would you fall in the category of, let's say, someone going on Amazon and buying a sporran versus going to a thrift store and getting a woman's purse?
Damn you for stealing my
stole our thunder.
That was my next point.
Yeah.
All right. Mac didn't just say that. Roll the tape back. My point I was going to bring up before Mac stole my thunder is substitutions.
Yeah.
If you have... It's substitutions speak to lack of knowledge. Case in point. We were at Celtic Classic years ago. I see Mac's already nodding. Mm-hmm. So he knew he was going to steal my thunder, jerk. We were at Celtic Classic, and a guy was walking down, and he had on not a kilt, but a kilted skirt. And he had on not a sporran, but a sequiny kind of purse thing that he just tied around the back to look Scottish for the day. And to me, it speaks of, yeah, I've seen a picture of a kilt once. I know what I'm doing. Right. It's fine. I'll be in the spirit. No,
close enough.
Yeah, it's the close enough that's the insulting part. That is what Halloween costumes are made of. There's a reason, and I will say this, in defense of the cheap eBay outfits. At least it's a real proportioned sporran with a real sporran chain. Yeah. Whether it's made in the UK or China, Pakistan, whatever, it's still at least a thing. Even if it's acrylic, it still has pleats in it like a kilt. It's the care. It's the how much knowledge do you have and what are you putting into it, or what's the it's good enough.
Or trying to be selective with those choices. I think you could buy super cheap stuff online, but if you're making an individual choice about each item, as opposed to taking something that's just handed to you, that shows a level of care. It's like, okay, that kilt pin speaks to me. That's my clan tartan, or as close to it as I can get. That sporran is good. If you're taking the time to make individual choices, that shows an investment, an emotional investment and an intellectual investment. For me, the opposite end of the spectrum is people who try too hard. They don't do a lot of research, or they do enough knowledge to be dangerous. Which I'm the king of, frankly, but they do. I'm going to go full bore and do over the top, super peacocky. Everything matches. Everything's perfect. I have a matching pocket square and matching tartan tie and matching kilt, and they have clan crests everywhere, and that's just kind of like.
It's a caricature.
You become See, now you stole my phrase.
Sorry.
You're becoming a caricature of it. It looks theatrical. It's not as bad as the other things we're talking about, but it becomes theatrical. So
it's kind of it's almost not a spectrum, a curve. It's almost like a come around the other side. It's almost a circle. You need to know and respect the rules in order to break them. You need to understand what you are doing, what you are wearing, why you're wearing it, and then choose to wear something that's not normally done, so that you look respectful of it. If you just like, it's a plaid thing, or you wrap a tablecloth around you, or a plaid blanket or whatever, it's like, hey, look at my kilt. No, it's not a kilt, dude. Or you put on the kilted skirt that's mid calf length, and I understand the budget thing, and I'm really not trying to come off as a snob, because you can get cheap stuff and still look respectable. It's the not understanding and not looking like you care to understand is what irks me.
Or out of context. Like I would say, if you go into a fantasy Ren fair, most Ren fairs are fantasy, let's face it, or you go to a con and you wear, we've talked about this before, we talk about armor and a broadsword or something with your kilt. And you look all the Witcher, but with a kilt. In context, maybe that's okay, but it is absolutely a costume. Out of context, you're going to look like a dork. You're not going to go to the supermarket with your broadsword and your armor. So it's sensitivity to context is a finer point on it, I think. and that will give people slack for context. So like if you're wearing something that looks like you're going to wear to Ren Fair because you are on the way to the Ren Fair, then okay, But or if you're wearing something punk rock because you're going to your punk rock show or something, fine.
Yeah, Paul McKenzie.
Yeah,
Like good example how there's a band called the Real Mackenzies. Lead singer Paul McKenzie and the rest of the guys in the band, they wear very casual, very it's their own style, but they're musicians, and that's their stage performance, their costume that they wear on stage.
Right.
Or like John McPhee wearing the doublet with the half open thing, and like wearing it just kind of in a casual rock starry kind of way. It's worn as a costume for the stage performance, but it's not. I don't know.
I think it's you have to have leave a little flexibility for fashion innovation. Otherwise, nothing would change, and we'd all be dressing like it was 1901. But at the same time, if you can't imagine yourself wearing the outfit on a daily basis, then it's more likely a costume. It might be a wedding outfit. If your job is to be a professional wedding Scott Piper. They have mourners for weddings, like professional mourners for funerals.
Maybe.
They should.
Professional objectors in the back.
That's the job I want. I want to be a professional objector. Excuse me.
Speak now for hold your peace. Oh no!
I'd totally Colin Robinson that if it were. I'd be just like, this is great. We're shaggy dogging, but I think hopefully we're getting the point across. Did you have anything?
No. Yeah. Aaron is on here, so he did say.
Hey, Aaron.
That he feels like the Jacobite shirt, to him, is something that he feels is a little bit more costumey.
That's a touchy one.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's kind of that's going over the rainbow and down the other side. It's been I agree. It's costumey. It's not historical. Mm-hmm. It started into the 50s or something like that.
Yeah, it came out of the movie industry more than anything else.
Yeah, but it's kind of become accepted through wanton usage, which is my favorite phrase.
Yeah.
Through wanton usage, it's kind of become accepted, and traditionalists are still fighting it, saying, no, it looks dumb. No, you shouldn't wear it. No. But people are still doing it. People are still wearing it.
Yeah.
And they like it. And the further along in time we get, the more photos of the thing exist, the more it will be accepted as, hey, it's a part of the outfit. Just like a Prince Charlie was a bastardization of the regimental doublet. And, it's things evolve, and this is part of the evolution. Is it fantasy? Yeah. Did Highlanders actually wear it back in the 1700s? No. But it's kind of just become a thing.
Is it part of the culture now? Yes.
Is it good that it's part of a culture? That's up to you.
Yeah.
Yay and nay. But
again, I think the going to the supermarket test, I think Aaron might agree with this, that basically if you wear a Highland shirt to the supermarket with your kilt, let's say your kilts and your hose and your sporran are all great, but you wear a Highland shirt to go get your groceries, a lot of people are going to think it's a costume. If you go into that same store wearing a dress shirt, a grandfather shirt, even a t-shirt, people are going to say like, oh, that guy's wearing a kilt. That's like how he dresses all the time. If they see a Highland shirt, it's one of those things that pushes it over the edge where it's kind of like, oh, that guy's on his way to the Ren Fair.
I disagree. I think I'll say there's a scale. Because
all of this has a scale. That's kind of what we're getting.
The Highland shirt with the kilt, in my estimation, being invented in the 50s-ish, has been around for enough time. There's enough pictures of it that if you're wearing, let's say, a kilt, hose and flashes, proper sporran, belt, and a Highland shirt, people will just assume it's fine. Now, if you're wearing a sword and blue makeup and that kind of stuff, yes, that's over the rainbow, over into Fantasyland.
Or the supermarket's pretty gnarly and you gotta be ready.
Yes, that's a badass supermarket.
Watch out for the produce aisle.
But I think it's kind of a weird gray area where it's becoming enough in.
You're just doubling down on your argument that the Highland shirt has become a standard part of Highland wear, even though it's not historically based.
Ish.
I mean, it's been 80 years, so you could say it's historically based now. Yeah. Just like graffiti on the Red Rocks in Arizona from the 19th century is now history, even though it was vandalism.
Yeah. But how long does it take to make a classic car?
Right.
25 years.
Right.
Is my first car, my Toyota, my 1995 Toyota Corolla, is that now a classic car?
Don't get me started on that. It just makes you feel old.
Oh, but it's a horrible vehicle.
But I think, but it's a question of optics. It's a question of what people see on a regular basis. It's going to make them respond. This guy's wearing a costume versus this guy's wearing some kind of traditional dress.
Yeah. Which goes back to the porn type argument. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. Mm-hmm. It's a scale. It's a range. And it's different for you on the Highland shirt than it may be for me, although I don't like it, but I think it's a little bit more accepted. Yeah. And seeing the number that we sell.
I know. It's like, I do know a few guys, and we've had a few customers who are serial kilters, and they wear Highland shirts all the time.
They like them.
They like them. They find them comfortable, which they are. So they've made it their thing. That's being an individual or an individualist, I guess. For the most part, Aaron, I'm on your side with this as far as that shirt is concerned. I would much rather do a grandfather shirt if it were me. Something that's a little closer to modern day clothing. Yeah, but it's a fascinating question. It really is. And I think it's something that people have struggled with ever since the notion of a Scottish national dress came about. If you look at vintage photographs from the 19th century, you see some that look more like this couple went into a professional photo studio in Edinburgh and said, okay, we want to be Highlanders, and they bring out the stuff. Here's your outfit. And then you see others where it's clearly the guy has an estate, or he works on an estate, or he wears this every day because it's what he does. And you could spot the difference in the details a lot of the time. So it's always been there. It's always been a factor.
Yep.
For better or for worse.
It will always evolve. It will always be a gray area. There will always be a time where it just has to reach critical mass of enough people believe that it should be considered traditional, and then it is because enough people talk about it.
Yeah. And I think we're done with this, but I'll make one other point that I think it's a more critical issue if you're a non-Scottish person doing kilting. Like if you're Irish heritage or Welsh heritage, or someplace else, Cornish or something, then you owe it to yourself to make sure even more so that your outfit does not look costumey at all. Because you've got more of a hill to climb in terms of acceptability. You still have a lot more people who are like, it's not Scottish, you shouldn't be wearing a kilt. Well, times have changed, old man. I can wear a kilt if I want to. But, the more costumey it looks, the harder it is to make that argument.
Agreed.
So,
yeah.
All right,
Mr. Mack.
We shaggy dog, but that was a good one. It's an important question.
I agree.
It definitely brought up a good discussion on in the thread there.
Cool.
So especially when the ghillie shirts got mentioned.
Dun.
It brought everyone has a different opinion on it. So it was interesting to see.
Ghillie shirts are okay. I think the purse as a sporran is the one that really that's a hard no for me.
Yep.
So we have Jason. He says he had a motorcycle accident a few months ago, lost almost 30 pounds. He's on the last hole on his kilts, and they're still pretty loose. And with his PT, his stomach is staying off. How can he adjust to make the kilts fit properly?
Sympathy's on the accident.
Yeah.
Hope the recovery is going as you want it to.
Yeah. He lost weight after getting in an accident?
He was probably, I'm assuming, depending on if he was in a cast, he's not.
He was probably immobilized or something.
So right, but usually you put on weight because you can't exercise, you can't move.
Yeah, but he also, depending, might be like on a feeding regimen at that point, depending on how bad
tube or something.
Severe it was.
Got it. So what's the question? How do you?
How much can he tighten up a kilt?
Yeah.
Basically.
There's a range. Generally, what we talk about for when you're in a kilt, a percentage, if you will. I'm not a math wizard quite that much, so I can't figure out exactly what it is. But if you lose 6 inches, but you started at a 60, sure, you can adjust it down to 54. If you started at a size 30 waist and you lose 6 inches down to a 24, it's too much of a percentage of the overall actual garment. So it's kind of a range. Depends on how much you lost and how much you want the kilt to fit tailored to you versus what's close enough. When you wear a kilt, a perfectly tailored kilt, the front apron of the kilt should effectively go hip to hip, so side to side. Basically, if you have a 40-inch waist, 20 inches or so should be the front apron of the kilt. Now, if you lose weight, what ends up happening is the front apron starts wrapping around further around the back. So instead of going, hip to hip, it goes like butt cheek to butt cheek. And then you end up with less pleats in the back. So we've had guys who, not necessarily in accidents, but I've had cancer patients come in and say, like, I lost 80 pounds through chemo and that kind of stuff. What do I do? This kilt is 9-10 inches too small or too big now, and we can't do it because they're only showing like that many pleats across the back. So at that point, it's time to either one, completely rip apart the kilt and put it back together, which is a lot of time and a lot of money. Two, sell that kilt on eBay and get yourself a new kilt for the newer, thinner you.
Yeah.
Those are generally the two options. Even if you alter a kilt, it still may not be exactly perfect depending if you lost weight proportionately. So like the taper from the top of the pleat to the bottom of the pleat may be different if you lost more weight in your rear end, so it may not fit as well. So unless it is a family heirloom that you must pass down, it was your great-grandfather's kilt, you can't get rid of it, my answer would be sell it and buy a new kilt for the newer, thinner you versus ripping the whole thing apart.
So he didn't. He's still watching. And he was in the hospital.
We haven't bored him yet.
He was in. He said he was in hospital for 25 days, and the kilt was originally a 36. So if he lost 30 pounds, he's 36. That's
That's rough, dude.
I wish I could lose 30.
Yeah,
I wish I could be down to 36. That'd be amazing.
Mac, we should send each other to the hospital.
There we go.
Just grab our bats and swing at the same time.
I was gonna say, I can, with a truck, we could arrange some extreme road rash for you. You're just gonna shave it off if you want.
No, I already came with a
belly
road rash
flop.
once, and that was a weird explanation to Brittany on how I got that. But
Scalp on a wet dry vac.
Oh.
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, sympathies, but
Yes.
hopefully that makes sense to him. For what you're saying, I personally am in favor of the sell the kilt and get a new kilt, or save the kilt and use the cloth of it to make something if it's really important to you somehow.
Or
there are things you can do with it.
And this is not meant to sound like a sales pitch. Save the kilt, put it off to the side, and buy a new kilt for your newer, thinner self. Because if your diets have gone like my diet,
you
now,
might
it's
put
not
the
a
weight,
diet,
you
were
might
in
put the weight
hospital.
back on.
If you put the weight back on, you have a fat kilt and a skinny kilt.
That's a good
so
point.
I have multiple kilts in my closet right now that I have not fit in for pre-COVID, let's say. And I put on 15 pounds during COVID, 10, 15 pounds. And I'm not getting rid of them because if I do take off the weight, then some of the bigger kilts will no longer fit, but the smaller ones will. So it's a matter of what's your budget, what do you want to do with it, and do you plan on, do you want to be safe and have two, or no, I'm absolutely never gaining another pound? In that case, sell it and buy a new one.
Yeah. So you want to do the couch to 5K thing
Exactly.
about running in the kilts up Route 724?
I'll get right on it.
There you go. That'd be a sight. I didn't say it'd be a good sight.
Exactly. All right, Mr. Eric.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. This is a little rambly. It's slightly holiday related. So ho ho ho. Mike Zemich. Sorry, Mike. Said, I have a question for our company Christmas party. A friend and I have a gentleman's bet as to who can be better dressed for a company party. He's going to be in Saxon wear, so I already have a leg up because he's got the kilt. You're going to win already, Mike. I'm already wearing a tartan tie to match the kilt with an argyle jacket and vest. Would a tartan pocket square look good or cross the line to being tacky? I think he's worried. He thinks he's got a lock on this, but he's afraid if he pushes too hard, he might lose.
Yeah, you're down in my opinion. Should you wear a tartan tie with a tartan kilt and a tartan pocket square? The tartan tie with the tartan kilt, I don't mind because he's wearing a vest. So you only really are going to see the top 4 or 5 inches of the tie, the knot, and a little bit of the tail of the tie. You're not going to see the whole thing. I'm not a big fan of tartan ties without a vest because then it's kind of like gets right up to the kilt.
No.
But if there's some separation, you're good. The tartan pocket square with the matching tartan tie with the kilt, I think it's too much.
As we've discussed before, you're kind of starting to cross the line to it looking kind of costumey at that point.
Yeah, matchy.
It's a little too matchy, a little too perfect, a little too look like you rented the outfit from somebody. I think you're definitely going to win the contest. It's a lock. But I would not do. What about tartan flashes? Tartan flashes, tartan tie. Is that too much?
I see some guys just hate tartan flashes. Nope. They should be solid or garter ties or whatever. I do not like tartan flashes. I personally am fine. I like tartan flashes. I don't mind them. I don't hate them. They're fine. It depends on my mood on a particular day. Today, like literally, when I get up, my wife is sleeping. I'm up at 5 a.m. So I look through my drawers with the flashlight on my phone to find my flashes and find out.
Yes.
I'm wearing my Stuart Old muted or Stuart Old Wilson's Bannockburn kilt today. I couldn't find the flashes in the drawer, and I have woken them. What are you doing? Nothing. Shh. Trying to be quiet. So I just found a pair of red flashes and grabbed those. That's what I wore today. I have matching flashes for this. I wear them. I just didn't wear it today. So it's really a coin flip to me.
You have not answered the question, sir. Would you wear a tartan tie with tartan flashes? Answer.
I don't wear tartan ties, so there's your answer.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Mac?
see, now what about
I don't wear ties in general.
so a kilt with a tartan let's go this way. A kilt tartan with matching tartan flashes, a tartan tie, and a matching pocket square. How would that be any different than a kilt with a matching tartan waistcoat and a matching tartan jacket? Because there you're kind of leaning into the whole thing.
That's a tartan suit.
But you're kind of doing the same thing. You're leaning a little bit this way now too with
Are you
it.
gonna have a tartan pocket square in your tartan jacket on your tartan suit? Like
We're
a
gonna go
stealth
in
pocket
for
square?
let's just do it all in Burns check, so it looks like a static pattern.
The shepherd's jack, yeah. Now
Scottish camouflage.
I have a soft spot for tartan kilt, tartan jacket, same tartan, same cloth, same everything. Tartan jacket and vest, with the vest on the bias. To me, that's a fun way to go over the rainbow and be the peacock among peacocks. If there's a bunch of tartan or a bunch of kilts in the room, this is a fun, over the top kind of outfit. A bunch of tartan accessories. I think it's the accessories that gets me. If it's a bunch of tartan accessories, that's where it's too much. It looks like you're trying too hard. But a full tartan outfit, it's just bam. I don't know. I can't describe it, but I like it.
I think we're
Can you articulate
we're
it?
shaggy dogging
I don't
for sure,
care.
but okay. I think, and this is something that my opinion is backed up by Saxon wear people too, like Gentleman's Gazette had a video on this. That it just there's a trend right now to sell matching ties and pocket squares to the general public. You'll see them all over the place on Amazon. It just looks too out of the box. It looks like a rent, especially if it goes into tartan. It winds up looking like a rental outfit. I think it's just too much, and again, it smacks of not putting any real thought into it. Whereas if you have a pocket square or a true handkerchief, which picks up a couple of colors, but maybe has an alternate color in it, looks like you actually tried to look at it. We're going into the realm of dandyism here, but that shows that you actually cared, and that can look awesome. Solid color is okay. But I think the tartan accessories, I agree, that's a problem. Now, here's my related question.
And I have another thought on mine as well.
Okay, I may derail that, but here's my question, and we'll separate this into a separate clip.
Then let me go first then.
Okay, you go first.
All right.
Okay.
The other reason I like, and I think the accessories was my aha in that. Too many accessories matching gets weird. Just like too many clan crest things all in the same outfit gets a little bit weird.
It's trying too hard.
The tartan jacket, vest, and kilt is also historical. There's precedent for it.
Sure.
It's been around for a long time, and it looks good for a long time. Therefore, it feels better to me than just over the top, all clan crest all the time, and all tartan bits and bobs, but not.
There's Macaulay prints of it.
Maclay,
or Maclay, sorry, from the 19th century. Yeah. So here's my question, though. Is it possible to look sexy in a tartan suit? Or do you just look, at best, dignified, but look like a fogyish Scotsman? Is it possible to look sexy, attractive to prospective partners in all tartan?
I will use two. Post this live. I will use two pieces of photographic evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Lance. the photo that we did at the photo shoot of Lance in the Pennsylvania kilt suit is probably the best looking photo I've ever seen of Lance. And I'm like, damn,
sorry,
that dude
Lance.
looks good. No. It's just a good photo.
It's a good photo.
It's a good photo. He looked very, he looked dead sexy in it, if I do say so myself.
Okay. All right. Mac, do you have an opinion?
I will back Rocky on the Lance photo. Like, I did not realize that was Lance at first.
Really?
Like, it's one of those things you look at, you're like, oh, well, that's Lance. Like,
Well, yeah, he doesn't have glasses and he has his hair.
yeah, his
different.
slick
It's
back,
like-
and it's
Trimmed.
Yep. Yep. But I don't know. I think if you had two guys go into into a venue, like a party venue, with a group of slightly inebriated ladies, okay, so the filters are a little bit down, not down to the point of being dangerous, and one guy's in a full tartan suit, and the other guy's in an argyle with a little bit of bling, and maybe the collar undone or something, I think he would come off better.
Now, see, here's where I go back to my point of the peacock among the peacocks. If it's one guy in a tartan suit by himself or with like one other guy in a kilt, it looks too much. But if there's a full room, if you're going to a St. Andrews event and there's 50, 60, 120 guys in kilts with similar, penguin-looking things, Prince Charlie in white shirt, Prince Charlie white shirt, Argyle white shirt, Prince Charlie in white shirt, Regimental double white shirt, and then you have one dude in a full tartan outfit head to toe. He stands out as like, wow, he put a lot of effort into that, versus looking like they phoned
Or
it
just
in.
a lot of money.
A little bit of both. But it's in that context, I think he looks better than the other guys.
Okay.
Context is king.
I am one of my favorites.
Yes.
I'm very curious to hear opinions on this from the
Yes.
peanut gallery.
Let us know. What do
Especially
you
the
guys
ladies
think?
out there.
Tell us, is a guy in a full tartan suit head to toe dead sexy, or what the hell are you thinking? You look like Gerald Ford in the 70s.
I don't know. Gerald Ford was pretty sexy.
When I think sex symbol, I think Gerald Ford.
See, now I want to do like a video of you in a tartan suit with the John Travolta stand, the Bee Gees Staying Alive thing, like walking into the venue. With bagpipes. Staying Alive on bagpipes.
Make it happen.
Oh, wait, that was mine. That was my question.
Indeed, Mr. Mack.
all right. So
Top that, Mac.
Well, we'll try.
Okay.
We have Prezac 7.
Prozac 7, what's up?
Right? That's what I thought.
Question on restrictive tartans. Provided you can get permission to have it made into a kilt, what steps would you need in order to have it made? And this is from a university pipe band that school he went to, and he thought it would be fun to have for alumni events.
Sure.
If it's a school tartan, good luck. But
We just did that, or we're doing that with the West Point tartan.
That did.
It's happening. It's in process.
Okay.
hey, guys, we're doing kilts for West Point.
I think
Tell your
is it
friends.
West Point?
I thought so, but I don't. It's
It's
been a
one
while
of the
since I've
military
been.
schools.
Yeah.
If you have a restricted tartan and you have permission from the copyright holder or the designer to have it woven for you, all you need is money. Just give us your money. Send it all. Just blank check. No,
have
it's
to be
all
us.
we need is just. It should be us though. All we need is permission. When the mill goes to get the thread count from the tartan register, the tartan register is going to say, "Hey, do you have permission from John Smith designed this tartan and said it's restricted. Do you have his permission?" And it's I'll say loosely like a gentleman's agreement. As long as we have an email or a letter, it does not have to be notarized and blessed by a priest.
Right.
As long as it's just an email from the tartan designer saying, "Yes, I am giving USA Kilts and House of Edgar permission to get the thread count, to weave the fabric, and to make this kilt for me." Great, done. Or for Jay Smith, who's my brother, whatever. It's not a super secretive process. It's not super super difficult to do. As long as you have permission, that's really all you need.
I think the money is a factor because it may be that you are looking at a custom weave.
Yes. You will be looking at a
you're
custom
almost
weave. Yes.
almost invariably looking at a custom weave, so you have to be prepared for that cost. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's all there is to it.
Now, outside of that, it's something that we do on a regular basis. I mean, we have custom weaves going all the time. Too many.
My little bit of snark at the beginning was that we know that a lot of schools have been very protective of their tartan. So when he mentioned it was a university tartan, I was thinking, oh boy, good luck getting them to give you permission.
Well, he said he already had permission.
But if he already has permission, then that's fine. But
No, a lot of times with schools or organizations like that,
Corporations.
yes, with corporations, they are a protected thing, and it's part of their branding. Frankly,
That's
so
why.
they don't want it to, be out there without their direct control on it. But most schools, as long as you're an alumni and you make donations, and you're directly in touch with the dean's office or with the copyright department or whatever it is, marketing department for the school, and you explain what you're doing. Look, I just want enough fabric for one kilt just for myself so I can go to homecoming and be the belle of the ball. Most of the time, they'll give you permission.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
See, that's why I don't have my Hello Kitty tartan kilt yet, because I can't get Sanrio to give me permission to wear it.
Damn Japanese cartoon people.
Yeah. All right,
All right, Mr. Eric.
Okay, speaking of tartan, J.J. Davidson said he has heard that tartans with a white stripe are considered more formal, and he offers an example of Davidson of Tulloch versus standard Davidson. I don't know if that's a valid example or not, but he said, is it true that tartans with a white stripe are formal tartans?
I think he's conflating dress. If I had to guess, no. Well, first let me state unequivocally, no. Tartans with a white stripe versus a non-white stripe are not more formal or less formal. I think what he's conflating are dress tartans, which have a white section, and then the rumor, for lack of a better term, or the generalism that dress tartans are more formal, and then non-dress tartans or hunting tartans are never formal. No, not really. No, and not all dress tartans have to have white. There's Barclay, there's MacLeod of Lewis, or is MacLeod Lewis or Harris? Oh, the yellow one, Loud MacLeod.
Yeah, Loud
is
MacLeod,
their dress tartan.
Yeah.
They are both yellow and black. They do not have white in them at all. So, or I guess technically Barclay has a white stripe, but whatever. So no, you don't have to have a white stripe or a white section for it to be a dress tartan, and a hunting tartan with a white stripe is okay. It's still a hunting tartan if it has a white stripe, if it's technically a hunting tartan. And this also brings around the larger point of, can a weathered tartan be worn for a formal function? Dun dun dun. Yeah, sure. It's not the tartan itself that defines whether an outfit is formal or casual. It's all the rest of the bits
stuff.
and bobs.
Yep.
For my wedding,
bling.
I wore the Scott Green weathered tartan. My wife had the Stuart dress weathered as her shawl and that kind of stuff. But it's weathered. It's a browns and grays variant of the tartan, and it looked great. I had an Argyle jacket and a vest on. I had a nice dress sporran on. I had nice hose on. So it worked well, and the fact that I was wearing a weathered tartan did not make it less formal than if I had on a modern tartan or a modern version of it or an ancient version of it.
There you go. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Exactly. Don't overthink it. Dress is a function of how you accessorize the outfit. The kilt stands out on its own, and that's the beauty of the kilt. It's versatile. You can dress it up or dress it down using the same piece of clothing, using the same garment. You do not have to get multiple kilts for a dress function and for changing your oil.
Yep.
Indeed. All right, Mr.
Mac.
That was you, right? So
Yep.
Mac.
All right.
Mr. Mac. Mr.
So
Mac.
we have a Neckbone
Nice.
asking who or what has the final say on whether a kilt design will be recognized as official for the clan.
Clan chief.
Clan chief.
Yep. The
Bottom line.
Yeah. There are several tartans who can officially give the old blessing to a tartan to say that, yes, this is officially a clan tartan. Only the clan chief. And there are several examples of tartans that exist, that are commercially available, that the mills weave, that are not officially recognized.
Right.
Campbell of Argyll comes to mind. Macmillan Black comes to mind. Neither of those tartans are official. Both clan chiefs for those respective clans have said, no, they are not official. We are not going to recognize it. It is not right. If you like it, have at it. But this isn't officially recognized or sanctioned or whatever.
Right.
So effectively, the clan chief is the guy with the authority to say, yes, it is officially recognized or not as part of the clan. Now, the tartan register can say that, well, even though it's not recognized as official, this still exists and people still wear it. So their job as the tartan authority before the tartan register, now the tartan register, which is an official arm of government, is not to say whether it's official or not. Their job, the reality of their job is they are there to catalog the tartans that exist for time immemorial. So that like 50 years, 500 years from now, these tartans will exist and these patterns will exist. And they're saying, yes, this is known, this is a thing. And it was, it's important to Scottish culture, which is why the Scottish Tartan Authority was started and the Scottish Tartan World Register, and before that TICA, and why both of those organizations pushed for there to be an official government body, of the Scottish Register of Tartans, so that it is, effectively the library, the catalog of these things forever, and it's not just up to a few guys with a passion. It's an officially government-sanctioned program.
Right. I mean, my impression is that a lot of the chiefs at this point are pretty relaxed about it. They'll say, sure, you can wear it. And we know it's out there. We understand that a lot of our clan members really enjoy this tartan and are wearing it. It's okay. Just please don't consider that it's the official one, and don't wear it to any kind of an official gathering if you're trying to represent us. Like if you're going to the big, clan gathering in Scotland that they're doing as the 5-year anniversary or 10-year anniversary or whatever it is, you're going to wear the official tartan. You don't wear the fashion version. But otherwise they tend to be fairly relaxed out because they recognize the reality. Popularity and officialdom don't always mix. On the other hand, I found that people who are members of a clan organization in the States tend to be more sticklers about it. So your local society, I would suspect, is more likely to give you some grief over wearing an unofficial tartan, like at a tent, for instance. If you're volunteering at a tent at a festival and you want to represent your clan, it's more likely other people stateside are going to say, that's not the official tartan. You got to go change. So.
Now I've heard, and it also depends on the disposition of the chief.
Right.
Now,
right.
I know that the clan chief of Clan Campbell is like adamantly against Campbell of Argyll. But
right.
I have a personal story I'm trying to remember. It wasn't me. It was it's somebody who told me the story, where he's a Macmillan. He has the Macmillan Black. He went to a clan gathering, and the chief was talking to him about his kilt and was complimentary of it and liked it, mentioned the fact it wasn't official, but he wasn't rude about it.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's the disposition of the individual human that happens to be the clan chief at that time,
right,
who will say either, why are you wearing that to this function? How dare you? Or, hey, that's a nice kilt.
Yeah.
And just kind of let it go.
Human nature.
Yeah.
It's that kind of spectrum.
Yep.
But
indeed.
There you go.
Humans are humans? No, never. Humans going to do what humans going to do.
Yep.
All right, who was that? Mac?
That was Mac.
All right, we'll do one more from Mr. Eric.
Okay. All right. Charles Marks and J. Shane Ward both asked us a similar question. I will simplify it by using Shane's wording, which was, of all the sporrans you have available or in your collection, which one is your most favorite and why? I'm going to say could be in our personal collections, or it could be something that the company offers, because we haven't all collected every single thing that we have here. But what's your favorite sporran?
Let's bring Mac in, too. Let's let Mac answer the question as well. Yes. More Mac today. This is the All Mac show. Mac, what is your one and only, you only get one, favorite sporran?
the one I usually go to for the most, which is not the one I'm wearing today, but is the one that I go to the most, is my Red Fox hunting sporran.
Okay. So fur hunting sporran with red fox down by the leaves. Got it. Okay. Okay. Why? Just out of curiosity. What's your reasoning? What's your rationale? Justify your position, sir.
Because it's purty.
It is pretty. You like touching it?
I do pet it occasionally.
I know. That's the creepiest thing with guys and sporrans is playing with the sporran tassels or the hunting sporran leaves. Yes.
Oh my gosh, this reminds me of a story. But anyway,
Mr. Eric, what's your?
Honestly, I have to say that my favorite is also just because it's pretty. It's my my semi-dress skunk pelt one, which is basically, it's very simple, but it's got the skunk pelt, and I'd always wanted a skunk pelt one, and I just love how it looks. It's fun. It's not too stuffy.
I just noticed it out there today.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't realize it was mine either.
Yeah.
I just have it out here in my office because that's what you do. You put your sporrans in your office. But yeah, that's actually my favorite sporran. I don't wear it as much on the show here because it's a custom one, you know.
Right,
but yeah, that's my favorite.
I think we've asked this question before, and
Really?
I have. Yeah. What's your favorite sporran?
We've been asked what type.
Your desert island sporran. I'm very torn. My practical nature side of diversity of outfits goes very similar to yours. Is my bovine hunting sporran, which similar to Max Fox one. It's a sporran I designed. I said to our sporran maker, "Hey Greg, I want a hunting sporran, but give me fur underneath the leaves to kind of dress it up a bit." That was my go-to for a very long time, and I like it from an aspect of it kind of splits the difference. It looks nicer, in my humble opinion, or not so humble, in my opinion, than a semi-dress sporran, and it looks fancier than a semi-dress, but you can still get away with it with tweed and day wear kind of stuff. So my diversity of outfit brain goes to that. My realist says you dress up twice a year? So this is my daily wear sporran. I've had this for years. It's got a nice patina or grimy as you as you would say. It's broken in, it's beaten up. I just love this sporran. So I may change my answer from previous to this one. I would go with something simple, traditional day wear that goes well with any kind of casual outfit. I can, if I had to wear a sweater with it or a tweed jacket and vest, it would still look nice with it. I could wear it to church. I could wear it to a Christmas party or something like that. I wouldn't wear it to a black tie event, so I'd be, oh no, Krampus stole all my sporrans except for one.
No.
But this is the one I would probably do. Probably a nice classic day sporran.
I think you could maybe possibly say there's a difference between a favorite sporran and your go-to sporran. So like maybe your hunting sporran is your favorite because you love the design, you're proud of the fact that you came up with it, but that's your go-to.
Yeah.
And I have to say, similarly, this is another quasi. Actually, we offer this now, don't we?
Yes.
But this is originally a custom design.
You
also.
Wanted it. You had me make that.
Yep.
Have it made for you.
I know. And I've had this for years. And again, it's a hybrid day sporran and hunting sporran with the leaves, and it is definitely my go-to. Yeah, because it works for a number of occasions, and I don't have to worry about spilling something on the fur.
Yeah.
So it's not my favorite, but it's definitely my second most favorite, and definitely my go-to.
Yeah, I think you ask us in a few more years, we'll all have different things. Like I think,
Possibly.
like Rocky's gone through. I think I'd say the other one that you used to have was what we called the Rocky Special. You used to wear that one quite a bit too. So it was just
I forget what it looks like.
What was the Rocky Special?
Was it raccoon?
I didn't wear it that much. I came up with a design. That was back when
Okay.
I used to use L&M. I came up with a design that I wanted. I designed.
For some reason, I thought I
sporrans
remember you wearing that more.
No, I didn't wear that one much. I didn't wear many like fur sporrans outside of the hunting one. I wore the chain pin sporran
Yes.
for a while.
Yep.
That one I definitely was one of my favorites just because of the simplicity of it. Trying to think what else, or just a plain hunting sporran I wore for a while. Yeah. There's sporrans are awesome. There's like a ton of minutia and little tiny designs, and you could do a lot of different stuff with sporrans to kind of change up how it looks with the outfit.
Yeah, talk about addiction.
Yeah.
It's like I really have my eye on getting a Prince Charlie one. I don't have anything that looks as nicely Victorian, Edwardian as that does at this point. I really want one, but
Yeah.
When am I going to wear it? I don't know. Of course, I can wear it anywhere around here.
And I
If
feel
I'm
the
just in
same.
a building, I can wear it anytime I want.
But I feel the same way about some of the dress sporns. I like a lot of the different dresses, like some of the candles. I like, but I'm
Right.
like, how much am I actually wearing a dress sporn around?
Yeah.
I have one, and that gets used probably about the most that any of them are going to get used.
Now, see, that's where I like leather dress sporns, because you get to where it dresses it down somewhat. I think leather dress sporns look fine with tweed.
Yeah,
so
I
it's a
agree.
great, nice day wear kind of thing. Yeah, but you still get the cantle, and you can do some really, really cool stuff with some older style Victorian type, bag dress sporrans, or just brown leather with like the old, the heart kind of things in the cantle. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool variations. The one thing that I'm probably most excited about with Highland wear is the revolution of it coming back to Victorian stuff.
Some of those traditional designs.
Yeah, some of those traditional, really, really cool Victorian design sporrans that are now starting to come back out. Some of the old tweeds that are coming back out or acceptance of tweeds as kilts coming back out.
Yep.
There's a lot of really neat stuff when you look backwards and you draw inspiration from history and kind of pull it forward. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls. Question of the day. Did you see the movie A Castle for Christmas? And if you did you like it? What do you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? Let us know in the comments. We want to know. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, Google Castle for Christmas. It's on Netflix. Not that this is a plug for the movie, but that's what we're talking about. Let us know if you loved it, hated it, or meh, it's fine. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Until next time, boys and girls. Slanjava.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.